have an amazing human being, a loving and kind soul, someone who I've had the pleasure and honor of knowing for quite some time. And I love her so much. She is an accomplished corporate professional. She's an accomplished serial entrepreneur and creative and all around an amazing dog mom as well. And she's got pretty good taste in Greek organizations, if you know what I mean. So without further ado, we have Richelle Barge.
Thank you. Were you talking about me that whole time?
I was.
I'm joking.
It was.
Well, thank you for having me, Bree. I was a little nervous. I was like, wow, I remember that this feels like the tables are turning a little bit, you know? I remember the days when you were on the other side of this. You know?
Yeah, I think so. And so I call you Shelly, but we will call you Richelle. Richelle, can you tell us about yourself?
Okay, and for the record, it does not matter, whichever one comes out. So, my name is
try to keep it cute and professional. You know, I just don't want nobody to get crazy. So it's like, okay, she said you can call her Shelly, then you can call her Shelly. But yes, go.
Well, so my name is Richelle. Some people call me Shelly, and I am the proud owner of Giddy Gut Wellness Center. And that is a hydrocolon therapy center, better known as colonics. I have been, Giddy Gut has actually been my business since 2019. It has actually fairly recently become a colon hydrotherapy center. Location to be determined. I am actually practicing in another clinic, but fingers crossed, end of April, I should be opening my own location, and I will officially be Giddy Gut Wellness Center, and not, the independent therapist that works for another company. But what else? So just the intro. Like you said, I'm a dog mom.
Amazing dog mom.
Amazing dog mom. A lover of people. A fan of art and creatives, and just an all-around, I think, cool person,
I think so. I would have to agree. I'd be remiss if I did not. So thank you for that intro. And I just think that your journey to getting to this business has been something that is not only like interesting, but is very like aspirational for creatives too. I've always long admired like just your ability to just continue to always fight for yourself and really fight to not only establish yourself, but like, I'm going to do what it is that I am passionate about. And you've always been very passionate and steadfast in your journey to be like, I am going to see this passion through, and I don't care what it got to look like to other people. I don't care what it looked like to me. I'm going to do this, and I'm still going to stick with it. And it's just like, okay, and allowing yourself the room to grow and to get to who you are in your purpose for your career. So I've always admired that. And we're going to talk about it today, y'all. So it's not going to be ambiguous to y'all either. Y'all don't understand. But I've known her for years, so I have to say that part. But we're going to get into it. A part that can be and has been scary in that process of knowing like what is not going to work and what I'm not about to do. In that process, when I go to, okay, let's explore, when we're in that exploration phase of figuring out, okay, where do I actually fit? How can I actually fit and support myself in the long run or in my goals and all these different things? Did you ever have any type of fear like, I'm going to be back in that same place mentally, even in this creative realm? You know what I mean? Like, it's like, okay, if I'm not in a certain climate in this entrepreneurial walk, I may end up just falling from 3 to 47 again. You know what I mean? Like in that mental, did that come into play at all?
No, I was a bit naive about the jump, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
I think sometimes that's to your benefit.
Yeah, I became highly aware in the process. When he's going back to his description, he said that when you fall, it's not a straight fall down. Yeah, I think one of his specific quotes was, "You're gonna tear your back up. You're gonna get caught on some rocks and some limbs and some trees." Now, I didn't hear that theory before I jumped. This was years before he came out with the jump theory. Now, had I heard it, I probably would have expected that I might have a couple of hiccups in this plan.
Right, because I was gonna say, did you just hear him say, "You gonna jump," and it was like, "TV off, got it." Say less, Steve.
Like, okay, I might not pay a couple bills, or I might get a knock on my credit, because at the time I had a 750 credit score. I was trending to an 8. I was doing good. I wasn't 30 years old yet. So or either that, or I was just turning 30. I was somewhere between the ages of 27 and 30. By the time I finally was just like, look, this ain't gonna work. But what I did know, but I knew that for me, even though I didn't know what it would cost, I knew that whatever the cost was, it would be worth me figuring out what I wanted, because I knew I've always had a deep desire to serve people, but that's really ambiguous. And then I also had a deep desire to, and it wasn't always health. Health wasn't always, but when I was originally, I wanted to be a chiropractor when I was in high school. So I kind of had these segments of ideas. But when I left, my thought was I was going to be a business consultant. And I was going to consult and use my corporate experience and consult for smaller businesses, small Black businesses specifically, because a lot of the time, a lot of them failed because they lacked the proper structure, or they lacked. And I knew that based on the number of, businesses I saw fail in my corporate career. That still wasn't it. But it was worth me exploring, because I wasn't going to sit in another boardroom and somebody asked me about some food stamps and I don't even, and everybody need help. There's no knock against getting help, but that is not an appropriate question.
You're so multifaceted. What has been like, and I know all these different things kind of culminate and have brought you to this space, but what has been your favorite mode / method of creativity or entrepreneurship?
Do you mean like as far as like how I actually decide what I'm going to do, or how about that?
Well,
give me a little bit more.
So I feel like, which is like your favorite outlet? So do you like which creative, or not, which career life did you like enjoy the most? So we know it's probably not going to be corporate, but we got corporate, we got the real estate, we've got the health and wellness journey of things as well, and we got author, we got all these different things that kind of culminate. How do you feel?
I think for me, it has been more of, I've grown into a wellness coach, and me, I always want to go get certified. So I'm working on those certifications, because I do like to have methodologies to actually help other people. But the underbelly for me of all of the transitions has been that I began to work on my own wellness. Because even in the process, I had a very poor self-image. I was having a lot of issues in my body. And so what ended up happening in that process, the more and more stressed I became from the jump, because let's be clear, I lost everything. I lost my house. Thankfully, one of my friends called me on the same day that the repo guy was in my driveway and made a payment for me. And it happened to be, I was going to lose my car on the last payment. I had one more to make, so that would have been a terrible, tragic story. But I said I had to find something, and so I couldn't control. I felt so out of control trying to figure it out. The method I like the best is coaching, because as I began to work on my own health and wellness, I learned that other people would ask me questions because they were struggling with some of the same things that I struggle with, but they didn't have the time to research and look up things, or even just kind of work through certain things and understand where the root of some of their issues were coming from. And so my favorite method is the phase I'm in now in coaching and wellness and connecting mind-gut issues, and helping people understand that a lot of our anxieties and depressions and a lot of things that we go through as we're going through this point of achievement happen because we have an unhealthy gut. So it has come I would have to say my favorite mode would be my coaching position.
Yes, I think that that's beautiful. Where you are now should always be your favorite. You know what I mean? Because it's like you have to enjoy the journey and the ride as you move on to new heights and everything. So I think that now, what I'm getting from the conversation is that, you know, you in a season where you can actually, one, you like the field that you're in,
Yeah.
and then you can actually take the time necessary to smell the flowers along the journey at this point. And you actually you're interested in the flowers that pop up on this journey. So it's like, I actually want to be here.
So,
What?
As a half of them, I didn't even know existed until I decided to kind of go on the journey. But it makes me think of a story. Like, so before I left corporate, and this was actually pretty early in my career, I said that I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I almost had a clue. And I don't know how I decided consulting when I left corporate, but part of that journey was uncovered when I was on probably about my third work trip going out of state. I was dreaming. I was in bed and I was dreaming that I had this group of little girls marching along, like in back of me, like I was some type of leader in some type of organization, and it was all these little girls behind me, and we were chanting and shouting, but the dream was on mute. So all I could see was our action and our intensity. And, I remember one little girl came up and cried and gave me the biggest hug, and, but it was crazy to have a mute dream and not really know what was happening. Mm-hmm. But moving forward, I realized that was actually the goal. And I know it might sound crazy that a mute dream turned into the goal. I really believe that I was able to understand that dream once I jumped, because when I was falling, when you start, and I call it failing, and I don't think failure is a bad thing. So let's say that when I started to realizing this was probably not the best thing to do, without having some type of plan. Even if you just jump, you still got to have a plan. Mm-hmm. I realized that the reason why I gravitated to wellness is because it highlighted my mental illness, my physical illnesses, and I had a chance to actually focus on those. Number one, recognize them. Mm-hmm. And number two, come up with a plan of action to work on them. And so what I came to realize, and I had a second dream about 10 years later, and it was part of that dream mixed with this dream. And it's kind of how I got to where I am today, realizing that, girlfriend, you are never going back into corporate America, because that is literally not your calling. Mm-hmm. The reason it doesn't ever resonate with you is because I don't want you there.